Hi, this is James again, and welcome to Storytime with James. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And bless this cash app. Bless my cash app so I can get acrylic paint, masking tape, and paint brushes. Okay, it's just you can just give me $1 or two. Okay, all right. This is a this story time is make be suitable for older viewers, not kids. Okay, so if you're a kid, just leave the room. Okay, this is how I got stabbed 3 times. Yes, it was a traumatic experience, but at the time I was for it though. All right, a long time ago, back in 97, I think it was 1997. 1997. Okay, I was working at the hotel. I just started, actually, just got the job there, and with the security department. This is before I became manager on duty. Okay, but this and I told the story before. This was way back when I had just 6 followers or something like that. It was just 6. So I started it, but but I got stabbed 3 times. Okay, I just got to work at it was about 4 or something. Maybe it was it was 4 o'clock, because I was working the 4 to 12 shift. Okay, so when I got there, I came in. I was speaking to everybody. Now, keep in mind, I've worked security before, and and I moved up in the ranks, but I was new to Memphis, Tennessee. So I was speaking to all the officers when I came in, and while we was talking in there, I heard the radio say click, like somebody just like clicking the radio. And I said, "Who was that?" And they said, I don't know who it was. Somebody probably just checking their radio." And I got on the radio. I said, "Who was that?" And nobody said nothing. I said, so I asked for all the officers who were there. So he named them off. He got the list and named them off and everything. And it was one officer that wasn't there. And we'll name him Frank. Officer Frank wasn't there, So I said, "Where's Officer Frank?" And they said, I don't know. So I went out. I left out the building and went outside to the sidewalk, and I saw an employee probably working in a banquet setup. And I asked him, I said, "Did you see Officer Frank out here?" They said, "Oh, he ran around the corner. He was chasing somebody." So I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, he just ran around there." So I started running around the corner. And while I was running, I said, "Hey, send officers to this spot here, to around the corner." It was by Greyhound bus station. That's where it was. So I said, I was running, and I was looking, and then I saw Officer Frank fighting with somebody. They were fighting. So I ran up. I said, "Send officers around here, Greyhound bus station, on the side of Greyhound bus station." And then I engaged with the guy. So me and the guy I was fighting the guy, and the guy was trying to swing at me. Now keep in mind, it was getting dark. See, this was in the fall. So this is when it got dark real early. So he was swinging, but I was tagging him, you know. And then I grabbed him, and then boom, and I flipped him down, and I was on top of him, and I was holding his neck, and he was hitting, trying to hit, you know. I didn't think nothing was happening, you know. He's trying to hit, and then I kind of smashed his face with the radio and stuff like that. So it was two other officers were coming up. They wasn't from our department. They was from the Greyhound. So they got him by his arms and they held him. And I was getting up and I went to check on Officer Frank. But when I was checking on Officer Frank, the guy broke away from those officers and ran across the street, you know. So he virtually got away, okay? So Officer Frank was sitting there. He said, my glasses, where's my glasses? And I found his glasses, and he said, they broke, man, they broke. He broke my glasses. And then I looked on the back of his neck, and there was blood on him. I said, you bleeding, man. I said, turn around. And I could see he was bleeding, but I didn't know where it was coming from because it was on his white, we had white shirts on, and it was on his collar, like right here. So I said, you better go to the hospital because I don't know, he probably hit you with something, you know. So so Officer Frank was standing there, and then they called an ambulance. The ambulance showed up right there on the scene. So they took him inside the ambulance, and I walked back to the hotel, you know. I went in there and I was telling them what happened, you know. And then all of a sudden the ambulance drivers, EMS, came into the hotel. They said, where's Officer, you know, they asked for me. And I told him, I'm right here. He said, so what happened over there? And I told him, I said, and they said, did you engage with him? I said, yes, I engaged with him. And I took him down and, you know, stuff like that. They said, take your jacket off. Did he hit you? I said, man, I said, I mean, you get hit when you fighting. You know, I told them that. And they said, take your jacket off. And I took my jacket off, and I had the white long sleeve shirt on because it was kind of cool outside. And I looked over, and I saw a red dot, and a red dot. So they said, you got to come with us. I said, well, what's happened? They said, you've been stabbed. You've been stabbed. This cat stabbed me with a box cutter. Not a box cutter, but one of those, what you call it? It's like a long, straight thing. Ice pick. Ice pick. That's what he had. And I said, man, what is wrong? What's going on? So they took me to the hospital. Actually, it was Baptist Hospital. They took me to Baptist Hospital, Baptist Memorial, downtown. That's before they tore it down. So I get to Baptist Memorial, and they check me in and stuff like that. And they say, okay, we'll be with you in a minute. And I saw Officer Frank out there. I said, you all right, man? He said, yeah, all right. I'm all right. Yeah, he broke my glasses. He broke my glasses. He broke my glasses. And I said, yeah. And he was outside smoking a cigarette, you know. And I told him, I said, man, I don't think you ought to be smoking a cigarette. He said, nah, he broke my glasses. I need this, man. I need this thing. You know, so, and then he had his head bandaged up. And it was a blood right there. Right there. So I asked him, I said, are you all right? He said, yeah, I'm all right. He broke my glasses. He broke my glasses. He broke my glasses. And it made me concerned, you know, because he didn't talk like that. You know, he probably would have, he said he broke my glasses when I got him up off the ground. But I said, well, I said, hold on a second. I went back in. I said, y'all need to get him in here because he's kind of incoherent. he keeps saying the same thing over and over. That's not good right there. He said, they said, all right, they got him in, and then they took him in, and he was walking. He broke my glasses. He broke my glasses. He kept saying that over and over. So they put him on the stretcher, well, the bed. They told him to lay down. And soon as he laid down, he went into a seizure. He was shaking over and over and over and over. And it alarmed me. So I backed up from the doorway. And someone came out and said he was stabbed in the temple with the ice pick, you know. And I'm surprised they didn't notice that he had head trauma as soon as they took him in. So they was working on him, and then they called me and took me in and aspirated all of my wounds, you know. They aspirated all my wounds, you know, because one went right through. It went straight through my bicep, came out right here. So after they was aspirated, it hurts when they aspirated. That's sticking a needle down into the hole and then squirting something in there. I don't know what they squirted in there, but after that, Officer Frank was really sick. He was really sick, and they gave me off. They gave me 3 days off. Okay, 3 days off with pay, plus they gave me an offer to go to therapy. So after that, the next day, I had my arm in a sling, you know, and I went to see Officer Frank. When I got to the room, his mother was in there with him. So I went in there, and Officer Frank was in a coma, you know. So I thought it was like they induced his coma so he can get better or something like that. But it wasn't like that. So he was in his coma that day, and I sat in there with him for a couple of hours, you know. Then I left. The next day, still there, still same condition, still same condition, still same condition. It was just going on in the same condition. So I asked the doctor, I said, what is wrong? When is he gonna come out of his coma? And they said, we don't know, because it pierced his brain. It went like right where the hinge, your jaw hinge, and went up and kind of pierced his brain. And his brain had swelling on it, you know. So I was shocked, you know. And I thought, mentally, I thought I wasn't going to be able to work, you know, anymore. You know. So I didn't want to go back around there no more, you know. But I knew the longer that I stayed off work, the worse I would get mentally. Okay. So after 3 days, I went back to work, you know. I went back to work as normal. And I didn't think about it. I even went back around to the area where it happened, you know. And the days went on. The days went on. Days went on. He was still in a coma. So I kept going to the hospital to see him, talking to him, telling him he need to come out of this and stuff like that. He would never move. So after a year of that, I was like, I don't think he's coming out. If it's been a year, chances of him coming out is not good, you know. But I heard they caught the guy. They finally caught the guy. They caught him a couple of weeks after, you know. So I said, man, what? Then another year went past. 2 years. 2 years. He was in a coma. Then he finally passed away. And this really upset me, you know. You know, it really upset me, you know, because he was like a buddy of mine. Me and him used to talk about music and everything. We like the same music, you know, old school music. So it taught me a lot. But since that happened, since I've been back to work, I went back to work. It was not nobody getting away with nothing. You see, immediately I would go off in a flash, and I would have kind of like flashbacks, and I tried to take people out. You know, I tried to take people out. Yeah, people wanted to know why I was so aggressive toward people. You know, why I was so aggressive, you know, because of that incident when I got stabbed. That's what made me so aggressive, because nobody was going to get that chance to do it again, you know. At first I was like Mr. Nice, Officer Nice Guy and stuff like that. No more. It was no more. I was aggressive. Very aggressive, you know. I was so aggressive that it was a fight like every other day. I would fight somebody every other day. I was the point man. Okay? So yeah, but anyway, if you're security or anybody in law enforcement, then look, never go out by yourself. Get back up, because when you going to arrest a person, it's no telling if he may fight you. He may fight, and if you're not built like that, you know, or because Officer Frank was kind of old, you know, he was a older character, you know, he was an older cat, and this cat was young, you know. So, and he was on crack or something. So, I'm telling you, man, never go alone. Make sure you call for backup. Make sure backup get there before you go hands-on with someone. Okay? Make sure before you go hands-on with them that you got somebody there with you. Always. Because I was thinking, if he would have, I know I just got to work, but if he would have waited, or if he would have called somebody, he clicked it like he was trying to call, but I guess he was fighting then. He started fighting, you know. But if he would have got backup to go with him, it probably wouldn't have turned out like that. It probably wouldn't have turned out like that. So, all right, you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you like. And hit that bell notification. Hit that bell notification so that you know every time I drop another video. And share. Share my videos with everyone so everyone can get this experience. All right? Peace. Adios. Salamat. Share that.